Good morning, everyone. Let me tell you something. Most people go through life playing small. They dream small. They think small. And when it's time to act, they shrink. They hesitate. They look for the easy way out. That's why most people never become who they're meant to be. But you're not most people. If you want to be different, if you want to break free from average, you have to dream bigger than your reality. Think beyond your limitations and act like your life depends on it. Because it does. Dream big. The world wants you to dream small. They tell you to be realistic. They say, don't get your hopes up. But that's their fear, not yours. Their doubts don't belong to you. You want to know the truth? Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you success. You have to see it first. See yourself breaking through every wall, reaching levels nobody thought you could reach. And when people laugh at your dreams, good. That means you're aiming high enough. Think big. Having a big dream means nothing if you let your old mindset hold you back. Most people lose because they never train their minds for the fight. They let fear dictate their actions. They let comfort win. You want to win? Change how you think. Stop seeing obstacles. Start seeing challenges you will destroy. Stop looking for permission. Start taking what's yours. When your mind tells you, I can't, you tell it, watch me. When the pain comes, and it will, you tell yourself, I was built for this. Your mindset is the foundation of your success. Build it strong or watch everything crumble. Act big. Dreaming and thinking aren't enough. Talk is cheap. Everybody's got a plan until it's time to execute. This is where most people fail. They want results, but won't put in the work. They want greatness, but won't embrace the suffering that comes with it. That's why you have to be different. Show up when you don't feel like it. Work when you're exhausted. Push when every muscle in your body is screaming to stop. That's where the magic happens. Success isn't about motivation. It's about discipline. It's about doing what you said you'd do long after the mood has left you. You don't act big when it's convenient. You act big when it's hard, when it's painful, when it feels impossible. That's how you win. Dream big, think big, act big. Not just today, not just when it's easy. Every single day. Because if you don't, you already know what happens. You stay the same. You stay average. You stay stuck. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to live a life where I wonder what I could have been if I just went all in. The question is, are you ready to do the same? Because if you are, then there's no stopping you, ever. Dreams are the foundation of everything great in this world. Every major breakthrough, every success story, every person who has defied the odds started with nothing more than a dream. But not just any dream. A dream so big it felt impossible. A dream so massive it made people laugh. A dream so terrifying that even thinking about it sent chills down their spine. That's the kind of dream you need. If your dream doesn't make you uncomfortable, it's not big enough. If it doesn't wake you up at night, heart racing with excitement and fear at the same time, then it's too small. The truth is, small dreams don't change the world. They don't push you to evolve. They don't demand everything from you. And that's exactly why most people settle for them, because they're safe, because they're easy, because they don't require struggle, sacrifice, or pain. But safety is an illusion. Comfort is a slow poison. Playing it safe doesn't shield you from failure. It guarantees it. Not the kind of failure where you try and fall short, but the kind where you never even attempt to go after what you truly want. That's the worst kind of failure there is. The kind that haunts you. The kind that keeps you wondering, what if? The kind that eats away at you. Because deep down you know you were capable of so much more, but fear held you back. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of people doubting you. Fear of stepping outside the walls of what's normal and venturing into the unknown. But let's get something straight. Fear is always going to be there. You think the people who changed the world weren't scared? They were. You think the people who broke records, built empires, defied the odds, didn't have doubts? They did. But they moved forward anyway. They felt the fear and they kept going. They didn't let it control them. They didn't let it shrink their vision. That's the difference between people who do something incredible and people who spend their lives wishing they had. The size of your dream determines the size of your growth. A small dream means small progress. A dream that fits neatly into your current life doesn't require you to become someone new. But a massive dream, a dream that seems impossible right now, that kind of dream forces you to evolve. It forces you to push past every limit you thought you had. It forces you to let go of the excuses, the doubts, the self-imposed barriers, and become a version of yourself you never knew existed. But here's the thing about big dreams. You're not going to achieve them by staying the same. You're not going to reach them by holding on to your old habits, your old mindset, or the people who don't push you to be better. Big dreams require discomfort. They require risk. They require stepping into a world where failure is not just possible, it's inevitable. But failure is not your enemy. Staying the same is, stagnation is, complacency is. Most people look at big dreams and immediately focus on all the reasons they can't achieve them. They tell themselves they don't have the talent, the resources, the connections, or the right timing. But none of that matters as much as they think it does. What matters is the willingness to start, the willingness to keep going, the willingness to take hit after hit and still stand back up, the willingness to look at every setback, every failure, every rejection, and say, good, that means I'm growing. The people who achieve their biggest dreams are not the smartest, the luckiest, or the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They are the ones who take the fear, the doubt, the discomfort, and use it as fuel. They are the ones who show up every single day whether they feel like it or not. They are the ones who embrace the pain that comes with growth because they know what's waiting for them on the other side. The truth is, nothing great comes without resistance. The bigger the dream, the bigger the obstacles. The higher the goal, the harder the climb. But that's the point. That's what makes it worth it. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If it were simple, everyone would be living their dream life. But they're not, because most people aren't willing to endure the process. They want the reward without the struggle. They want the success without the sacrifice. But that's not how it works. You have to make a choice. You can dream small, stay comfortable, and live a life of quiet regret, or you can dream big, step into the unknown, and chase something that sets your soul on fire. One path leads to mediocrity, to an existence where you simply go through the motions, waiting for something to change. The other path leads to transformation, to impact, to a legacy that will outlive you. The only difference between the people who achieve greatness and the people who don't is the size of their vision and their willingness to go all in. Not halfway, not when it's convenient, not when I feel ready, all in. Right now, your mind is the single most powerful weapon you have. It can build you up or break you down, make you unstoppable or keep you stuck in the same cycle forever. Everything starts with how you think, how you see yourself, how you approach challenges, and how you respond to pain. Most people don't even realize they're prisoners of their own minds. They let their thoughts control them instead of taking control of their thoughts. They let doubt dictate their actions, fear determine their choices, and old beliefs limit their potential. They don't even question it. They don't even realize that the thing holding them back isn't the world, isn't their circumstances, isn't other people, it's them. It's their mindset. It's the story they've been telling themselves their whole lives. If you think you're weak, you'll be weak. If you think you're not capable, you won't be capable. If you believe you're stuck, you'll stay stuck. Not because it's true, but because your mind will make it true. That's how powerful it is. Whatever you feed it, it accepts as reality. If you keep telling yourself that you don't have what it takes, your mind will find every reason to prove you right. It will hold on to every failure, every rejection, every doubt, and use it as evidence to keep you in the same place. But if you flip that, if you train your mind to believe in your strength, your resilience, your ability to overcome anything, it will find ways to prove that right too. It will push you through pain, through struggle, through setbacks, and keep you moving forward no matter what. Most people never train their minds for the fight. They train their bodies, they chase skills, they focus on external things, but they ignore the one thing that controls everything. When life gets hard, when things don't go their way, they fold, they break down because they never built up the mental toughness to handle it. They don't realize that how they think in those moments is what separates the weak from the strong, the average from the elite. You can have all the talent in the world, all the resources, all the opportunities, but if your mind isn't built to endure, none of it will matter. The moment pressure hits, you'll crumble. The moment adversity shows up, you'll retreat. Your mind is your battlefield. Every day, you're either winning or losing that battle. You're either programming yourself for strength, for resilience, for greatness, or you're letting weakness take over. And make no mistake, weakness is always waiting. It's waiting for you to doubt yourself, waiting for you to hesitate, waiting for you to look for an excuse. The moment you give it an inch, it takes everything. The moment you start negotiating with yourself, you've already lost. That's why you have to be relentless in how you train your mind. You have to take control of your thoughts before they take control of you. It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself, what you focus on, what you believe to be true about your own capabilities. Every time you catch yourself thinking in a way that weakens you, shut it down. Replace it with something stronger. Tell yourself, I can handle this, even when everything in your body is telling you to stop. Tell yourself, I was built for this, even when the challenge feels impossible. Train your mind to see struggle as proof that you're growing, not as a reason to quit. Train your mind to see pain as part of the process, not as something to be avoided. Most people let fear control them because they never trained themselves to push through it. They think fear means stop. They think discomfort means they're going the wrong way. That's why they never grow. That's why they stay in the same place for years, never reaching their potential. But the strongest minds don't run from fear, they run toward it. They don't avoid pain, they embrace it. They don't wait until they feel ready. They go after what they want, even when they're scared out of their minds. You have to put yourself in situations that force your mind to adapt, to toughen up, to get stronger. You have to challenge yourself every single day. That means doing things you don't want to do. That means pushing yourself when nobody's watching. That means getting up earlier, working harder, suffering more, and never allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. Discipline over feelings. Every time. Because your mind will always look for the easy way out. It will always try to talk you into comfort, into quitting, into doing what's safe. But you have to be stronger than your mind. You have to force it to follow your lead, not the other way around. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. And that choice is entirely up to you. The difference between the people who win and the people who don't isn't talent, it isn't luck. It's mental toughness. It's the ability to keep going when most people would stop. It's the ability to stay focused when most people get distracted. It's the ability to stay locked in no matter how much pain, pressure, or doubt comes their way. That's what separates those who make it from those who don't. Every time you push past what you thought was your limit, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you believed. Every time you keep going when your body says stop, you rewire your brain to expect more from itself. That's how you break past the barriers that have held you back for years. That's how you go from average to elite, from someone who dreams to someone who does. It's all in your head. It always has been. Pain and struggle are the price of greatness. There's no way around it, no shortcut, no easy path. If you want to achieve anything significant, you're going to suffer. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to feel like quitting. That's the cost. It's the toll life demands in exchange for success, and most people aren't willing to pay it. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They want the results without the grind. They want the comfort of dreaming without the discomfort of doing. And that's why they stay exactly where they are, stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, watching from the sidelines as the people who are willing to suffer leave them behind. Pain is the great separator. It's the filter that divides those who say they want it from those who actually do. Everybody wants success when it's easy, when it's convenient, when the path is clear. But the moment it gets hard, the moment things don't go their way, the moment they feel that burn, that exhaustion, that doubt creeping in, they start looking for a way out. They start telling themselves maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not meant for them. Maybe they should just settle for where they are. And that's when they lose. Not because they weren't capable, not because they didn't have what it takes, but because they weren't willing to embrace the struggle long enough to see what was on the other side. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, it isn't luck, it isn't intelligence, it's pain tolerance. It's the ability to suffer more than the next person and keep moving forward anyway. The people who reach the highest levels are the ones who understand that suffering is part of the process. They don't run from it. They don't avoid it. They don't make excuses when it shows up. They welcome it. They lean into it. They use it because they know every ounce of pain, every setback, every moment of doubt is shaping them into something stronger. Struggle isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're growing. Every time you push through something hard, you expand what you're capable of. You break past the limits you thought you had. You develop a level of grit, resilience, and toughness that can't be faked. And the more you embrace that struggle, the more unstoppable you become. Because while everyone else is looking for the easy way, for the quick fix, for the magic pill, you're in the trenches, putting in the work, enduring what they won't, and becoming the kind of person they never will. The people who win at the highest levels don't avoid pain. They seek it. They put themselves in uncomfortable situations on purpose. They train when they don't feel like it. They push their limits daily. They don't just accept struggle. They chase it. Because they know every time they suffer, they're leveling up. Every time they go beyond what they thought was possible, they're separating themselves from the pack. They're forging a mindset, a mentality, a level of discipline that makes them untouchable. Most people never reach their potential because the moment things get tough, they start looking for an exit. They tell themselves they'll come back to it later, that now isn't the right time, that they'll try again when things aren't so difficult. But there is no perfect time. There is no version of success that doesn't involve pain. You either face it head on now, or you spend your life running from it, never knowing what you could have been if you had just pushed through. Pain is the gateway to everything you want. The stronger, tougher, more resilient version of you is on the other side of suffering. You don't get stronger by avoiding discomfort. You don't become great by choosing what's easy. The only way is through the failures, through the setbacks, through the moments that test you, break you, and make you question everything. And every time you push forward, every time you refuse to quit, you become a little bit stronger. You build a little more confidence. You become the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but who does. Most people think pain is the enemy, but it's actually your greatest teacher. It exposes your weaknesses. It shows you where you need to improve. It forces you to adapt, to grow, to find another gear you didn't even know you had. The problem is, most people don't stick around long enough to learn the lesson. They run from the fire instead of walking through it. They see struggle as a reason to stop instead of proof that they're on the right path. But the truth is, if you're struggling, if you're feeling pain, if you're being tested, you're doing something right. It means you're pushing beyond where you were yesterday. It means you're stretching yourself in ways that will make you better. The only thing that separates you from where you are and where you want to be is how much struggle you're willing to endure. That's it. Not your background, not your circumstances, not your resources, just your willingness to suffer more than the next person, to go one more round when you've got nothing left, to get up after every failure, every rejection, every disappointment, and keep moving forward, to embrace the pain as part of the price you have to pay to be great. Because the truth is, there's no escaping it. Whether you chase your dreams or stay exactly where you are, you're going to suffer. You can suffer the pain of discipline, of hard work, of pushing through discomfort, or you can suffer the pain of regret, of knowing you had more in you but never gave it everything you had. One pain lasts for a moment, the other lasts a lifetime. Discipline is the foundation of everything. It's the difference between those who talk about success and those who actually achieve it. It's what separates the people who rise to the top from the ones who stay stuck in the same cycle of excuses, failures, and half efforts. Most people think motivation is the key. They think that if they just find the right source of inspiration, if they just hear the right words, if they just feel the right energy, they'll finally take action. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel it, some days you don't. And if you're waiting for motivation to carry you through, you've already lost. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're unmotivated, if you're not in the mood. Discipline does what needs to be done no matter what. Discipline shows up every single day, whether it feels good or not. And that's why disciplined people win. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They don't let circumstances decide whether they work or not. They commit to the process and they execute. Day in, day out, no matter what. Most people struggle because they're addicted to comfort. They only want to put in effort when it's easy, when it's convenient, when it feels good. But that's not how success works. The best don't operate based on feelings, they operate based on standards. They have non-negotiables. They don't allow excuses. They don't make deals with themselves. They do what needs to be done, whether they want to or not. That's discipline. The problem with most people is they give themselves too many options. They allow too much negotiation in their minds. They say things like, I'll wake up early tomorrow if I feel rested. I'll work out if I have enough time. I'll put in extra effort if I'm in the mood. But success doesn't work like that. There is no if. There is no debate. You either do it or you don't. And if you don't, someone else will. Someone else will outwork you, outlast you, and take what could have been yours simply because they had the discipline to show up when you didn't. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, if you don't use it, it gets weak. Every time you let yourself off the hook, every time you break a promise to yourself, every time you choose the easy path, you weaken your discipline. You make it easier to quit the next time. You reinforce the habit of making excuses. But the opposite is also true. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you do the work even when you don't feel like it, every time you choose discipline over laziness, you get stronger. You build a mindset that can't be broken. People say they want to be great, but their actions don't match their words. They talk about wanting success, but they live like it's optional. They wait for the right mood, the right circumstances, the perfect time. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. There is no right mood. There is only right now. In the decision you make in this moment, will you put in the work or will you find another excuse? Will you push yourself or will you take the easy way out? Your ability to stay disciplined when you don't feel like it is what determines your success. Anybody can put in effort when they're motivated. Anybody can work hard when it's easy. But the ones who separate themselves are the ones who grind when no one's watching. They're the ones who show up when there's no applause, no recognition, no external reward, just a quiet grind of getting better every single day. Discipline is about consistency. It's about stacking small wins day after day until they add up to something unstoppable. It's about refusing to take shortcuts, refusing to skip steps, refusing to compromise on the standard you've set for yourself. It's about showing up when nobody else does. When most people would hit snooze, you get up. When most people would quit, you push harder. When most people look for an excuse, you look for a way forward. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The truth is, discipline is painful, it's uncomfortable, it's hard. That's why so few people have it. That's why so few people reach their true potential, because they'd rather choose the pain of regret over the pain of effort. They'd rather stay in their comfort zone, even though it's keeping them small, keeping them weak, keeping them stuck. They'd rather do what's easy now and suffer later than do what's hard now and reap the rewards. But you have to decide what kind of pain you're willing to live with. The pain of discipline lasts for a moment. The pain of regret lasts forever. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they don't stay consistent long enough to see results. They work hard for a few days, a few weeks, maybe even a few months. Then the motivation fades and they go back to their old habits. They expect instant results, and when they don't see them, they quit. But discipline isn't about instant gratification. It's about putting in the work with no guarantee, no immediate payoff, just faith in the process. It's about understanding that results take time, that success is built brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day. The people who achieve the highest levels of success are the ones who master the boring work. They don't need excitement. They don't need motivation. They fall in love with the process. They fall in love with the grind. They do the same things over and over, not because they feel like it, but because they know that's what it takes. They don't get distracted by shiny objects, by quick fixes, by the illusion of an easier way. They lock in, they stay focused, and they execute no matter what. Discipline is a choice. Every day you make that choice. You can choose to stay the same, to let your feelings control you, to wait for motivation, or you can choose to take control, to build the habits, to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. That choice is what defines your future. That choice is what separates the elite from the average. That choice is what determines whether you'll look back on your life with pride or regret. Your actions define who you are, not your dreams, not your words, not your potential, your actions. What you do every single day is the only thing that matters. People love to talk about their goals, their ambitions, their plans for the future, but most of them never do a damn thing about it. They stay in the same place year after year, making excuses, waiting for the right time, convincing themselves that they're just getting ready. But preparation without execution is worthless. A plan without action is just a fantasy. If you want something, you have to move. You have to take massive, relentless action, and you have to do it now. Most people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they never actually commit to doing what needs to be done. They hesitate, they overthink, they wait for the stars to align before they make a move. They let fear dictate their actions, let doubt talk them out of taking risks, let comfort keep them stuck in the same cycle of mediocrity. And every day they wait, every day they hesitate, every day they choose excuses over action. They're falling further behind. They're watching their dreams slip away, not because they weren't capable, but because they refused to step up and do the work. Action is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. The moment you start moving, the moment you take control, the moment you commit to execution over excuses, you change the game. You separate yourself from the people who just talk, just wish, just hope. Because the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. And results only come from action. Most people spend their lives stuck in a cycle of analysis paralysis. They want everything to be perfect before they start. They tell themselves they need more information, more time, more resources. They convince themselves that they're being smart by waiting. But in reality, they're just scared. Scared to fail, scared to struggle, scared to face the fact that success isn't easy. They hide behind preparation because it feels safe. It feels like progress, but it's just another form of procrastination. At some point, you have to stop planning and start doing. At some point, you have to stop thinking and start executing. There is no perfect moment. There is no right time. The only time that matters is right now. The people who win in life aren't the ones who wait for ideal conditions. They're the ones who adapt, who take action despite uncertainty, who move forward even when they don't have all the answers. They understand that hesitation is the enemy. Every second spent waiting is a second wasted. Every delay is an opportunity lost. And while they're out there making things happen, everybody else is still stuck in their own heads, still debating whether or not they should start. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they need to feel ready before they act. That's a trap. Readiness is a myth. You'll never feel completely ready. There will always be doubts, always be fears, always be reasons to wait. But action creates readiness. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you execute, the more confident you become. Waiting for the right mindset is backwards. You don't get confidence before you start. You get confidence by starting. You don't get clarity by thinking. You get clarity by doing. Every day you have a choice. You can either take action or make excuses. You can either get closer to your goals or stay exactly where you are. There is no in between. There is no neutral ground. Every decision you make is either pushing you forward or holding you back. Every time you choose action, you build momentum. Every time you choose hesitation, you reinforce the habit of doing nothing. And once you let inaction become a habit, it gets harder and harder to break. The people who succeed at the highest levels don't waste time debating what needs to be done. They see what needs to happen and they execute. They don't overthink, don't second guess, don't wait for approval. They take control, they move fast. They make mistakes, but they learn from them. They understand that failure isn't the enemy, inaction is. You can recover from failure. You can adjust, adapt, and improve. But you can't recover from time wasted. You can't get back the years you spent waiting for the right moment that never came. Action beats intelligence. Action beats talent. Action beats luck. There are thousands of people out there with potential who never achieve anything because they don't take action. And there are people with less skill, fewer resources, and worse circumstances who win simply because they refuse to stop moving forward. The world doesn't care about what you could have been. It only sees what you did. Most people quit before they even start. They let fear control them. They convince themselves they're not good enough, not ready, not worthy of success. But the truth is, the only thing separating them from the life they want is their own hesitation. The moment they stop thinking and start doing, everything changes. The moment they take responsibility for their actions, instead of blaming their circumstances, they take back their power. Taking action isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about taking the first step and figuring the rest out as you go. Too many people waste their lives trying to map out the entire journey before they even start walking. But success isn't a straight line. It's a process of trial and error, of learning and adjusting, of failing and getting back up. If you're waiting for certainty, you'll never move. If you're waiting for a guarantee, you'll never start. People love to make success seem complicated. They think there's some secret formula, some hidden shortcut that only a few people know. But the truth is, it all comes down to one thing: taking action. Every day, no matter what, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't see immediate results. Because results don't come from what you do once in a while. They come from what you do consistently. The hardest part is always starting. Once you get moving, everything gets easier. Momentum takes over, confidence builds, progress fuels more progress. But you have to be willing to push past that initial resistance. You have to be willing to do what most people won't. Take the first step when it's scary, when it's uncertain, when you don't feel ready. Because once you do, you'll realize the only thing that was ever stopping you was you.